Hey everyone, Flint Truth Channel here. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about some of these YouTube preachers, Bryan Denlinger being one of them, and we're going to talk about a few other YouTube preachers, the numerology, basically witchcraft that they use in their YouTube handles and in their names. As you guys can see, I'm going to show you the name of a few of their churches. I'm going to show you some of their YouTube handles and show you the extent that these people go to incorporate numerology. And it's going to show you and leave no doubt that Bryan Denlinger is no different than David W. Daniels, Steven Anderson, Robert Breaker, Ed Feneger. They all are gatekeepers, puppets, Satan's disciples to fool you, to deceive you, to reel you in. A lot of them are very knowledgeable and are very, very articulate, very smart people. You can learn a lot from them. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. However, I'm saying you need to have discernment. You need to know the Bible very well. You need to read the Bible yourself, not count on somebody else to tell you what it means. You need to have you need to have a King James Bible, and most importantly, you need to have a connection with the Creator, right? Then comes in discernment, and through those things, we can weed out the devils, these false prophets, these wolves in sheep's clothing, which is what Bryan Denlinger is. As you can see, Denlinger is 33 in numerology. As you guys know, the importance of the number 33 in Freemasonry, in the occult, witchcraft, the Kabbalah. Numerology is very, very important, and so, you know, it's no surprise that Bryan Denlinger and these other YouTube pastors incorporate numerology in their YouTube handles, and I'm going to prove that to you today with no doubt. Again, as you guys know, in Freemasonry and in the Kabbalah and in other occultic teachings, the number 11 is not only the number of the Antichrist, but it's a master number, and they love that number, and they love it anything times itself. So 11 times 1 is obviously 11. 11 times 2 is 22. So obviously you guys know, I'm sure, that follow this channel, I've exposed the number 22 and the meaning behind that, along with 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, so on and so on, as you guys get the point. And I've exposed that, the meanings of each one of those, and there's a lot more numbers this important that I've tried to expose, and hopefully you guys have checked a lot of those videos out. I know I have a lot of videos, so anyways, yeah, as you can see, Denlinger's a 33 name. It's no surprise why he's been allowed to get 50,000 followers. He would have been shut down a long time ago. He would have never been allowed to get millions and millions of views if he wasn't one of these Satan's puppets, if he wasn't one of these devils. If he, you know, I firmly believe that it's no coincidence that Bryan Denlinger is in on the game, that he's a part of some fraternity, he's part of some occultic body, whatever it is. There's no denying, because you're going to see here, as you know, a lot of people wondered why Bryan Denlinger changed his name from Husky 394 XP or whatever it was, 397, I think it was 394 XP, why he changed it to Born Again Barbarian. And we can have a whole nother discussion about Born Again Barbarian, which are words that don't go together, like almost like sovereign citizen. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. You're either a citizen or you're sovereign. Anyways, so 44. Bryan Denlinger equals 44 in numerology. Born Again Barbarian equals 44 in numerology. It's no coincidence that Bryan Denlinger chose that, because it equals 44 in numerology. He wanted to obviously incorporate it just like Ed Feneger did, just like Hovind does. Just like Steven Anderson does, and Peter Ruckman, his idol, does. So yeah, we're gonna see Bryan Denlinger equals 44, Born Again Barbarian equals 44. No coincidence, absolutely not. Kent Hovind equals 44 in numerology. It's not a coincidence that Bryan and Kent, both their screen names, both their handles equal 44 in numerology. It's not a coincidence, I assure you. Steven Anderson, Sanderson 1611. He couldn't even put his full name, or he had to put Sanderson 1611 because he wanted to come up with 44. And see, Bryan and Steven, they pretend to be enemies, you know, just like a Republican and a Democrat, almost like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. You know, they pretend to go at each other, but then when the lights are, you know, are turned off and the cameras are turned off, they go golfing with each other. You know, they go on vacation with each other, and they sit there and laugh at the foolish people. That's what Bryan and Steve do. You can rest assured that there's one big clique. That's why Kent Hovind and Steven Anderson have done a lot of work together. Bryan is his role to be opposition of Steven Anderson. They're gatekeepers. That's just their role. And like I said, I said 44, it's no coincidence. Born Again Barbarian 44, Kent Hovind 44, Steven Anderson 44, Eric J. Phelps 44, Peter Ruckman 55, Oliver Denlinger 88. Very important, guys. Pay attention to what he's doing here. Okay. Also, we'll get into that later. Again, I didn't mean to do that twice. Peter Ruckman 55, as you guys can see, Faith Baptist Church. I'm sure you guys are aware of that, of who that is. Anybody that follows Steven Anderson with their Faith Baptist Church movement that they were moving, again, 66 in numerology. There's always a method to their madness. Okay, these as Manly P. Hall says, when the human race learns to read symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. Soon as people remove their blinders, they'll be able to actually see the forest for the trees. Clinton Ames, another YouTube pastor. Again, Bryan pretends to be at Ames with. Jason Cooley, another pastor on YouTube, so-called pastor. Bryan Denlinger, 44. I mean, it's no coincidence, guys. As again, Steven Anderson, 1611, 44. Robert Breaker, 66. See, Robert Breaker has a dual name because Robert is 33 in numerology and Breaker is 33 in numerology. The reason why Robert Breaker is propped up with all his false reporting. Ed Phefeneger. Why does Edward Phefeneger, why is his screen name Edward PF123? Because you get 44. Again, it's no coincidence, guys. They're all the same. Okay? They're all the same, using the numerology in their letters. Again, Lord of Glory Church. I'm not sure which one of that is. Clinton Ames. It's one of their churches. And again, 66. What does Bryan Denlinger claim to be? A Ruckmanite, right? What's a Ruckmanite? And that's a real following. That's the real spelling. You can Google it. It's equals 33 in numerology, just like Denlinger. It's no coincidence. David W. Daniels from Chick Checks. He's got a dual name, a 55 and a 44 name. So, you guys see the lengths that these people go to incorporate numerology in their ministries. Again, KJ Video Ministries. Bryan Denlinger's other ministry. 55 in numerology. Plus, you get the 8 and 5, which equals 13. Satan's number. The cursed number. Again, King James Video Ministries. And yes, the S is there. It's all spelled out. You can put it in yourself. It's 77 in numerology. That's not a coincidence. That's what he started off at. And I can assure you that's not a coincidence because his brother goes to great lengths to incorporate 777 into a lot of things, which I've shown several screenshots, and I also made a video proving that, and I'm going to make another video proving that. Bryan, like I said, there is no denying that this man is an occultist. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that him, Steven Anderson, Eric Phelps, Robert Breaker, Peter Ruckman, and on and on and on, all are using the same numerology. It's not a coincidence that Bryan Denlinger Eric J. Phelps, Kent Hovind, Steven Anderson, Ed Feniger, and on, all have the number 44. Their screen names equal 44. It's done on purpose. It's done by design, and these people are devils. And I'm not going to waste very much more time on this video showing you guys that. Now, there's other videos I'm going to make exposing this guy and exposing his brother, and we're just going to put the truth out there and, you know, let the truth fall let the chips fall where they may. People can come to their own conclusions whether they want to support these ministries. I would think that you're foolish to do that. I think that you're foolish to know that, you know, these people are practicing witchcraft, practicing the Kabbalah. They're more than likely Freemasons. It could be Jesuits. I wouldn't be surprised, especially out of Catherine's own mouth when she says that her whole family is high-level Jesuits. Very, very likely that Bryan is too, and that she sucked Bryan out. Seeked Bryan out for a reason. She obviously picked up the codes that he was putting out. Obviously found out that he was a connected man, and you know, decided, you know, they were gonna do their little CIA mind control YouTube thing, or they just both been in on it all along. But I think it's all a ruse. I don't believe that Bryan really lives the way that he does. Like I said, this man's a connected man, was involved in the art world. You know, he said he was brushing shoulders with ritzy-ditzy people with a lot of money, you know, and he kept begging for money, telling people that if they didn't give him enough money, that he was going to go back to the art world. And this guy's completely begging for money in every video. Everything's always breaking. It's always everything's fault, everybody else's fault. Or why he couldn't buy a proper car that was rusted out, or, you know, or his fuel pump went out, and he's not a man. He don't have the skills to drop the tank, because he certainly doesn't work. So why can't he do the work himself? Why can't he? It just doesn't make no sense why he's not working and trying to provide for his family. And YouTube is not working. He cannot say, well, I do YouTube, because YouTube is not working. YouTube is not a ministry. YouTube is something that you do on the side to try to put some truth out and do what you can